Sweep attacks have been the only form of AoE attack in Minecraft for 9 years. How can we improve on that? Make an AoE attack system that adds intrigue and variety to the game, but still feels like it belongs. In my damage update mod, I added a system called custom reticles, a shape on your screen that defines the hitbox of your weapon. In my most recent update, custom reticles are finally fully data-driven, so today I'm going to go over how you can create your own. If you're new to my devlogs, SCADA is a damage update that I've been working on that aims to keep the core of Minecraft's combat, but add extra features commonly found in RPG games like elemental damage and attack types. The end goal is to enable more interesting content to be made for Minecraft, like swords that deal lightning damage instead of the 10th version of a sword that strikes lightning when you hit something. Each attack type on each weapon can have its own reticle shape. So far, I've just made one shape for each attack type. So let's get started on making more. To begin, figure out what kind of shape you want to create. The background footage here is just me creating reticles. I like to draw them out in my notebook first. We're going to be defining a list of vertices that form the outline of the shape we want, so it's helpful to have a clear idea of what the final result should look like. Starting with the top right point in the shape and moving clockwise, we're going to start making a list of XY coordinates. Before you start though, the coordinate system for rendering shapes works a bit differently than a traditional Cartesian plane. As you might expect, the center of the screen is going to be the origin, but going up from the origin, Y values are going to be negative, and going down from the origin, Y values will be positive. The x-axis works normally. Any shape must have a minimum of 3 vertices, but the more vertices you include, the more accurately you'll represent what you're trying to make. I've mainly been using Desmos to map out what I'm doing, but obviously Desmos doesn't know about the flipped y-axis, so you have to do that manually. I've had a bit of success using AI, but I've only tried it while making a circle, which is a really simple shape. Even then, it added about 20 extra vertices on the end that I didn't need, which I had to manually remove. I'd suggest using AI to get a baseline, then editing into a final product. Once you have a list of coordinates that plot your shape, we're ready to add them to the game with a data pack. I'm going to be working in SCADA's namespace resources, but it should be simple enough for you guys to make a data pack and follow along using the same file structure, which is just data, namespace, reticles. In this reticles folder, we'll have JSON files that define one reticle each. The name of the file doesn't actually matter, so you can call them whatever. Inside the file, the first field is going to be the name of the reticle. This is the part that actually does matter, so make sure to remember what you put here. Also, these can and will override each other, so try to make sure whatever you name them is unique. The other field here is the meat and potatoes of the file, which is a list of coordinates that define the polygon. The place field is for ordering the coordinates properly. The game draws the shape in line segments between pairs of vertices, so it's very important that your vertices are in sequential order. Here's footage of me creating the reticles shown here from scratch. While I was working on this video, I figured out how to use Copilot a lot better. So here I'm going to be making the reticle almost entirely with AI. I still think Desmos is the best way to do this manually though. To begin, I drew the shape very roughly in MS Paint so that Copilot would have an idea of what I wanted. I forgot to tell it what the file should look like, so I'll give it the context of the reticle files I made. I'll go ahead and copy this into the file, and then I have to go and temporarily put this on a weapon so I can see what I'm working with. Well, that's not quite what I'm looking for. I definitely want the ends to be pointy, so I'll find the leftmost and rightmost points and extend them out a bit. It was also a bit too circular, so I'm gonna ask Copilot to compress it vertically. Getting better, but definitely still needs more tweaking. After a couple more iterations, the reticle looks like this. This looks good. I'll quickly test that the shape is being filled with hit detection points properly. The reticle is done now. It's intended to be used for pickaxes. I'm imagining like if you swing the pickaxe sideways, the hit area would be like a slash attack, even though you're still hitting with the pointy bit. Since I want every pickaxe to use it, I'm going to put it in the named info for pickaxes, so that any pickaxe item will be generated with it included. In-game, I still need to run the generation command to get the reticle onto each pickaxe. As a final note, you've probably noticed that the reticle shapes field is a list, or just that it's plural. The reason for that is you can actually put multiple shapes here. This is to allow for reticles made of multiple disconnected polygons. Here's the reticle for tridents, which uses this feature. Thanks for watching everyone, and have a good one.